And some of the earnings we are getting in for big tech. We had Amazon report a short time ago. We're waiting for Apple, which will be reporting shortly. Let's go to Eric Jackson, founder and president, EMJ Capital. He joins us to dig through this. Eric, thanks for joining us. Let's start with Amazon. It is moving down in after hours trading more than 5% as a result, I guess, of the guidance for its next quarter, because it actually beat on sales, revenue, and earnings per share in the current quarter that it's reporting for. So talk to me about their exposure in the trade war and whether you think that is what is holding their guidance back.
Hey, good to be with you, Marella. I actually, I think the knee-jerk reaction was to see a drop in the shares, but they've come back a little bit just in the few minutes since the report's been out. Their backward quarter was good, as you say. And I think what people were a little worried about was the forward guidance with respect to profitability. They basically kind of lowered the bottom end of the range. So I think they're sort of nodding to the fact that there's this potential for the tariffs to really roil the economy over the coming quarter. But their guidance for top line sales was really strong and much better than what they just reported. So and I think higher than a lot of people were expecting. So I think it's an interesting set of results. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the stock price continued to recover in the after hours. We'll see what Andy Jassy says on the phone call. But this is a name that could be strong tomorrow. It wasn't a Microsoft report, right? The thing bounced like 10% almost today. But it certainly was. Amazon was much. There was more concern that they'd be in the crosshairs of a trade war than a Microsoft, and it would affect them more. And I thought their guidance was pretty strong.
Okay, so moving forward and looking forward with China under that 145% markup still, and it's unclear when Donald Trump is going to sort of work with China to make this disappear or at least lower that number. What is your take on Amazon's back half of the year if this tariff continues on the way it is?
Well, what's sort of interesting is that Amazon and Walmart are kind of emerging as these sort of two recession stalwarts for consumers to go to when there's uncertainty in the economy and you want a deal. Where do you go? I mean, Walmart's stock price has done reasonably well just in the last few weeks. Not as well as it was doing back in January, but it's sort of recovered quickly, especially when you can take into account that, there is this brewing trade war that might get worse. Hopefully will get better. But I think Amazon is also in that category. Obviously, both of these companies have enormous heft. They can lean on their suppliers to try to provide the best prices out there. Consumers have been trained to go to them for low prices. So it's maybe counterintuitive, but I think Amazon could emerge as sort of like this, a winner out of a trade war.
Can we talk about their cloud as well, the AWS? What is the expected growth there? What kind of growth have they been having in that part of their business?
Well, they reported I think it was just a shade under 30 billion in sales for the quarter, and it was slightly below what the expectation was for AWS. But this is still, an enormous part of their business. It's still, with all the interest in AI, where there's continued growth and profitability for Amazon. So it was sort of a good enough quarter in terms of what they reported. And I think they'll speak more on the call about expectations for that unit for the coming quarter.
How does that growth, you said it was a bit of a miss for them for the cloud, how does it compare to some of the other big tech?
Microsoft was obviously good yesterday. So,
yes.
In the cloud space, it's Microsoft, Amazon, and Google that, that people pay most attention to from a cloud perspective. And then, Alibaba, for example, overseas, like in China specifically for cloud, there's a name like that. So far, we're still kind of early in this current earnings season, but Microsoft, blew the socks off. That was positive for NVIDIA today, as when these cloud providers, these hyperscalers, are healthy. That's sort of seen as a read through to their continued hunger for NVIDIA chips. So so far, Microsoft guided to kind of continued interest, new projects, new investments in the cloud, and I think still going through the Amazon report, but I expected we'll see the same things from them.
Okay, we are just getting some of the Apple numbers in right now. Apple reported revenue for the second quarter that met the average estimate, so $95.36 billion, 5% increase year over year. The estimate had been $94.59, so again, a beat for Apple on that. Let me just have a look at some of the other headlines as they come through. We want to talk about Apple, of course, in light of its exposure to China, the same way we did Amazon. But Apple, of course, is really dug in China, right? Their supply chain is based out of China, which is say most of their products are either assembled or the components come from China. So were you expecting them at this point to beat revenue, all things considered? And will the next quarter sort of be very different for them?
Well, I think people are interested in knowing from a supply perspective, what Apple is doing to potentially move some of the supply out of China. There were some announcements just a week ago about how they were going to be basically ramping up efforts to produce more iPhones out of India rather than China. But that, there's no panacea. They're going to continue to be heavily reliant on providing iPhones from China for a while. But so people will want to hear the commentary from Tim Cook about that. But I think the other big question is going to be, how did China itself as a geography do for Apple? Because it's a major part of the Apple story. There's been weakness there over the last year, and then occasionally some surprise strength from it. So I haven't yet seen the numbers from that for China specifically in terms of what Apple did. But
okay,
that's going to be the big.
Yeah, well, they're just beginning, as I mentioned, to come across now. So they beat in earnings per share $1.65, where the estimate had been $1.62. So a beat for them there. I'm not sure if the China numbers have come through just yet, because it's not only sort of the tariffs they're facing in the U.S. On Chinese exports or imports into the U.S., but it's also the Chinese market itself. I don't know how much business they do in China, but their share of that market has been dropping as well, hasn't it?
I mean, it's still a prestige phone for a lot of Chinese over there, and it is a huge market for Apple. So make no mistake, it continues to be important. So yeah, but how the trade war shakes out and affects consumers both over here in North America as well as in China is definitely going to be a focus. I mean, the past quarter looks like it was rock solid, both from a top line perspective and from an EPS perspective. But what kind of commentary does Tim Cook give about what he might be seeing in the current quarter and guidance as well?
I do want to ask you about a problem that they're having in the U.S., where the U.S. has been going up against some of these big tech companies and trying to get them to divest in one way or another. And what Apple could lose is Google investment. Google pays to be the search engine on Apple iPhones. They could lose that income. Will that be significant to them if that goes that way?
It's a very high margin part of their business. And so I think they would reluctantly give it up. I'm not sure that they will have to. I mean, I think it's kind of premature to get into that. I don't think anyone's seeing the writing on the wall for that yet. But yes, extremely important high margin source of revenue for Apple is that Google search revenue. Now, they're increasingly people are spending more and more time on ChatGPT, and Apple has an interesting partnership with OpenAI as well. And how it's going to be interesting to watch in the coming quarters how they potentially do a lot more integration, and whether they have to walk a line, because they're also very big, obviously, on privacy, consumers' privacy, And so how can they provide a more integrated approach with ChatGPT and yet protect all their users' data? That's going to be something they'll have to figure out.
Okay, I just want to know whether you expect guidance from Apple, or how much guidance you expect from them, as many companies have been not providing it or providing it scenario-based. What do you expect to see from Apple?
I expect them to be conservative. I mean, I think that's sort of been the theme that we've seen from lots of companies up till now in this earnings season, and they've been rewarded for being, they haven't been penalized, I would say, for being, very conservative. And companies are always conservative, but I think people are taking a step back and giving themselves lots of room to perform in the coming quarters, depending on what happens from a high level perspective with tariffs. So I would expect the same from Apple. I don't know if they've given it yet. I haven't seen it.
I know you're looking at the numbers that are just coming in. Had the stock price up. I'm going to bring it back in a moment because it has been dropping. So it's down about 2% in the after hours trading, even though they did have the beat that we've reported. So I'm just wondering what you think is happening here. Is there anything from what's breaking that you see that would cause a drop?
No, I mean, 2% is not that big a deal, especially for a company like Apple. I mean, they typically move less these days than some of the other Mag 7 names. I mean, they're still down on the year. This is a stock that's like down 15% on the year coming into the earnings today. And so it was a steady as she goes quarter. I think it was a solid quarter. It looks like, from what I've seen in the different units, and especially from iPhone, which is obviously like the main business for them. So they did well, and it just and doing well is good enough in kind of these times. The stock obviously sold off just in the last few weeks, but it's bounced back quickly leading into this report today. So I think people are, overall, it's been a strong member of the Mag 7 group. But it hasn't been kind of the top performing one. It's sort of been one that's sort of right in the middle. Not the worst, not the best.
Just last question for you, because we know a lot of companies were stacking up inventory with the fear of the trade war. A lot of people were buying their iPhones early, worried that it was going to go up a great deal in price. So do you think some of that's reflected in what we're seeing in their growth in revenue now? Sales were up 5%. And again, is that something that's going to come back and bite them later?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about $3,000 iPhones, as a result of a trade war. I think that's not going to happen. I don't think the U.S. government's going to let that happen. There would be a lot of unhappy American consumers if that was the case. So I think everyone's sort of looking for an off-ramp to this whole China-U.S. battle, and Apple's sort of like right in the middle of that. Apple's been trying to, play nice with the government and, making announcements about, further investments in the U.S. So we'll, I expect they're going to get through this just fine.
Got it. All right. Eric Jackson, founder, president, EMJ Capital. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time on this.
Thanks, Merle.
Up next, what Canada needs to do